So before I show you how this is going to end up, I want to take you along the journey of how I got there. I was successful at going up 5 of these railroad ties with a kicker, without a kicker, so I figured this is a lot of fun. Let's make this a little taller. All right, of the 8 timbers, I've only got 1 in place, and I think I'm going to angle this up because I was only going to do 3 on each side. So by angling that up, I'll get to the top. And I want this to be a little more flat, so that's why the blue drum is going to be buried in the ground. And then on the other side, I've got some ideas. And I think what I'm going to do is use this as like an undercut step coming back this way. The tire would be a really nice undercut. That's pretty tall though. So I wound up moving all these railroad ties, dirt, and obstacles by myself, which was a lot of work, but thankfully no injuries to the lower back. So I used up some of those flat rocks to try and fill in. This is a lot of mass to put in here to build this up, and you can see it kind of just looks like a dump. Kinds of debris. I'd say I need at least 1 more load of dirt. The first load for today went to a different neighbor's. She said I can have any of this dirt, so all right, last load of dirt coming into the splat wall. You can barely see the blue barrel. It's just sloping back down. So my undercut section, you got the rock there and then the tire, which I don't know that I can do either one of these just yet, but it'll be something to work towards. And then if you got momentum and you need to go down, I've got a pallet there, otherwise you can just turn. But let's see how, when I go up and land, it's gonna be flat before going back down. So this is now 6 railroad ties on a vertical wall. I do have those helper stones, and I probably should have just stayed where I was at to refine the technique before building it higher. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely the biggest thing I've ever hit, and I'm a little nervous. So Jesus, keep me safe. Just doing some marinating and looking at this like typical middle-aged men do. I would not recommend getting on top and looking down. That looked way scarier. And decided to hit this with a splat the first time rather than try a ride-up technique. I figured that kicker would definitely help. So I'm including in here my first attempts, not just showing you the final clip, because I think it's important to show you exactly what's going on in the process. So I was hitting my front wheel a little bit. I'm having trouble with the rotation, so I decided to move that kicker back. That would have been a big kicker, but decided with this one just a little bit further back. Once I got to that batch plate, man, things felt a lot better. I could just get up there and then more easily ride off. In addition to getting the extension of my legs correct at the timing of the kicker, also had to work on building up the RPM nice and high to make it up with the splat. I probably should have just left it there for the day, but I decided to do a ride up or a roll up technique, which is basically just rev, squat, go, which I've talked about in previous videos, but I did not get my technique dialed just right, and on that first one just pulled in the clutch too soon, chickened out a little bit, so I decided to give it a go. Man, I was glad at that point I was able to dismount safely. Even though the bike went down, it didn't come all the way to the ground. That was not good. Should have taken the cue from the other. Oh my gosh, dude. Thankfully, I'm okay. Now let's check out the bike. So until I get the roll-up technique dialed, I'm gonna go ahead and remove one of these railroad ties and just practice again on 5 planks, which I'm feeling pretty comfortable with. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.